as I was in my practice, the kind of the number one thing that I saw for helping patients get better to breathe better was using a nasal rinse. And I could see that, people that I thought would have needed surgery would be rinsing their nose, and they got better. They felt better. They could avoid surgery. They wouldn't get sick. So they really reduced their need for antibiotics or nasal steroid sprays. And they were happy to use their nasal rinse, and it worked. And so what became frustrating for me is when I would see people who would use a nasal rinse and they felt better, basically come and say, well, I don't want to use a nasal rinse every day. It's too inconvenient. I don't want to boil water. I don't want to get distilled water. I don't want to have a big mess. I just want something simple and easy to use. And that didn't exist at the time. And a lot of people found that the products that were available at the time were quite irritating for the nose, or they didn't want to use a big contraption to flush their sinuses out and suck things out. So they just wanted something simple and easy to use. So I guess I'd been in practice for quite a while and had a fairly massive patient database at that time, and had probably seen about 20,000 people by that time in my career, and started asking people, like, well, what do you want to use? Like, what's convenient for you to use? What's going to be easy for you to use every single day and stay healthy? And people said, well, I basically just want to be able to pour it into a bottle and rinse my nose. I don't want to have to mix anything. And ideally, it would just show up on my doorstep every month and I could just use it. Wouldn't even have to think about it. And so what we did is I found the solution that I wanted to create, that we wanted to use for people to rinse their nose. And talking with my brother-in-law one Christmas, I said, this is what I want to do. And he was a CFO in an oil and gas company downtown here in Calgary. He goes, well, I'll talk to one of my chemists through work and see what we can do. And so about a month later, the chemist calls me up. He goes, I can't make this product, but I found someone who can.
I have the bottle itself here.
Perfect. Yeah, good.
And this is the rinse itself. So if you can tell the audience, what is it about and why you've decided to create it this way?
So with this solution, the solution's a little more like seawater than just plain saline. And so for the nose, it's less irritating, less drying, more physiologic than saline alone, which is the biggest thing. Very comfortable, very soothing inside the nose that we find. We're fine when people use it. The nice thing about our bag is that we can actually compound medications right into the bag. We have a way of inserting medications into the bag. So patients who see their doctor, either ENT allergist, what have you, or adding nasal steroids or antibiotics, anything, we can actually add it right into the bag, which just makes it so much more convenient for people to use. So no mixing at all required, no medication mistakes. It's just simple and easy to use. In terms of the bottle, the biggest issue we had with the bottle that was available is that it was easily contaminated, extremely hard to clean. And when people used it, it didn't actually reach the sinus cavities. It doesn't need to go, or doesn't go where it needs to go. And so we had designed this bottle with the spout and use it inverted exactly. This is going to direct the solution better into the sinus cavities than the current bottles that were available when I first started. So this actually gets the medications where it needs to go, or the rinses where it needs to go, and clears out that major drainage area of the sinuses. And that's and it's easy to clean. It completely empties when you use it. A lot of the other bottles out there don't completely empty. Really not a huge deal if you're just using salt water, but as soon as you start adding medications into your rinse, you're throwing your medications down the drain if it's not used. And so this just takes away a lot of those problems. It just makes it simple, easy, convenient to use.
Yeah.
And if you, in my simple way of thinking, if I can make it easy and convenient for people to use, they should therefore use it. And really no excuse. And I know myself, I've timed myself by the time I fill the bottle with rinse, and because it's a pre-made solution, you don't have to use a huge volume of rinse. I get away from myself just using 100 mils when I use the rinse, so half a bottle. By the time I fill the bottle up and use it, it's 22 seconds. So super quick to use. Everybody's got 22 free seconds in their day.
And I will leave some information below my video so people can go on the website, they can see more, they can read more, they can read your story, the story of the company and the product itself. So hopefully that will also bring more awareness and people.
Yeah, a few more million users would be great.